Hello dear students. In the previous class, I think all of you studied very well how Indian economy is divided into two sectors. One is public sector and another one is private sector. In the public sector, some classification will comes under that. First one, the classification will be departmental undertakings, and the second one statutory corporations, and the third one government company. Now we are going to study these three concepts under public sector. After that, private sector, you know very well, sole proprietorship, joint in the family business, partnership, cooperative society, and multinational corporations also. We will study that concept later, but we will move on to this one, statutory corporations. I think you know very well at the time of introduction of these corporations, these organizations or statutory corporations are brought come into existence by the government by passing the special act in the parliament. These statutory corporations brought into existence. You hang existence agirtavantandra by passing the special act in the parliament. These corporations are comes into existence, and these corporations are considered as an independent corporate body. These corporations are not dependent, but these corporations will take permissions from the government, but they independently operate with their own rules and regulations. So that's why we call it as a independent corporate body, or it is considered as an autonomous body anta karitivi. And funding of these corporations will not comes from the central government, and these corporations are independently financed, and ultimately the state government is held responsible for the financial matters of these corporations. In the case of any profits earned by these corporations, that will be used for the purpose of appropriation of that corporations. If in case any loss incurred by these corporations, on that case also the state government or the state is held responsible for such things. And next now these corporations can frame their own rules and regulations within the powers assigned by the Government Act. Beyond that power, these corporations should take up prior permission from the government in some issues, in some matters. Government and also the political interference is also required for these corporations. ಇದಿಷ್ಟು ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅದರದ್ದು ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದೆ. ಈಗ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ನಾವೇನು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗೋದು ಏನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ನಾವು ಅನುಕೂಲತೆಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಅನಾನುಕೂಲತೆಗಳು ಅಂತ ಏನು ಕರಿತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಮೆರಿಟ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಲಿಮಿಟೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ advantages or disadvantages of statutory corporations. These form of organizations enjoy certain privileges or enjoy certain advantages which are as follows anta ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು. They enjoy, first one, they enjoy independence in their functioning. ಒಂದೇದೇನಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, these statutory corporations are they are independent. They are independent, enjoy independent in their functioning, and also a high degree of operation flexibility. ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ನಾವು ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೈ ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಆಫ್ ಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು. ಬಟ್ ಒಂದೇದು ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜ್ ಏನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, they are independent in their functioning. They enjoy independent ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಪ್ರೆಷರನ್ನು ಈ ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ ಹಾಕೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ they enjoy independence in their functioning and a high degree of flexibility in their operations, and also they are not imposed, they are free from the undesirable government rules and regulations and control. ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜ್ ಅದಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಷನ್ಸ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟು ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾದಂಥ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲನ್ನಾಗಲಿ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರೆಷರನ್ನು ಹಾಕೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಇದು ಒಂದನೇ ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತದೆ. Since the funds for these organizations do not come from the central budget. Note, since these organizations, funds of these organizations do not come from the central budget. It means these organizations are independently financed. It means the government does not interfere in the financial matters of these corporations. First of all, one ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಕಾಮನ್ ಆಗಿ ಏನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಫಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ದೀಸ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ the funds of these organizations will do not comes from the central budget. ಯಾವಾಗ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಬಜೆಟ್ ದೊಳಗಡೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ಸ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಫಂಡ್ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದಾಗ, and also the government does not interfere in the financial matters of these organizations. ಯಾವಾಗ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ದವ್ರು ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಫಂಡ್ ಕೊಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅವಾಗ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ಸ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ತಲೆ ಹಾಕೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು. and also they does not interfere in the income and receipt of these corporations. This is the second advantage of these corporations. Next, since they are considered as an autonomous body, or since they are considered as the autonomous organizations, they can make or they can frame their own rules and regulations. They can frame their own rules and regulations within the powers assigned by the act. ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಫ್ರೀಡಮ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, these organizations are considered as an autonomous body or autonomous corporates or corporations ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಹೆಂಗಿದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ they can frame their own rules and regulations. ಅದು ಅಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯೀಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಟರ್ಮಿನೇಷನ್, ರಿಟೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಕ್ಯಾರಿಡ್ ಆನ್ by their own rules and regulations, and government also does not interfere in the financial matters of that organizations. Income and receipt ಅದರೊಳಗೂ ತಲೆ ಹಾಕೋದಿಲ್ಲ. This is the third advantage of these organizations. But one ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡ್ರಿ, in some issues, it means whatever the powers assigned to the corporations, if they need to frame any rules and regulations which is applicable to the statutory organizations beyond their powers, on such moment, in some issues or in some matters, prior approval of the concerned state or ministry is required. ಅವ್ರ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಅನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದು ಅವ್ರು ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಆಪರೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್, ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಚ್ಯುಟರಿ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಎನ್ಶ್ಯೂರ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ a valuable form of organizations for the purpose of for the contribution of economic development. From the point of view of economic development of our country, these statutory corporations are considered as a valuable form of business organizations, and it has the power of a government combined with the initiative of a private enterprises. It means these corporations have the government powers. Government kadinda powers ಅನಿಸಿಕೊಂಡಿರುತ್ತದೆ, and it is combined with the private enterprises. These are the merits of statutory corporations. We will move on to the demerits or limitations of statutory corporations. These organizations suffers from several limitations. ಒಂದನೇದೇನು ನಾವು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, in reality a statutory corporations does not enjoy as much as flexibility in their operations. ನಾವು ಒಂದೇದು ಏನಿದ್ವಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಫುಲ್ ಫ್ರೀಡಮ್ ಇದೆ, ಅವರು ಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಐತಿ, ಅವ್ರು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಬೇಕಾದಂಗೆ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆಪರೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ನಾವು. ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ ರಿಯಾಲಿಟಿ these organizations do not enjoy that much of a freedom in their operations, because yakantandra all actions subject to many rules and regulations. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಅವರು ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗ್ತೈತಿ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್. ಇನ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಒನ್, government and political interference has been always there in the case of any matters relating to that corporations. ನಾವು ಅವಾಗ ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಗೌರ್ನಮೆಂಟ್ ಮತ್ತು ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಇಂಟರ್ಫಿಯರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ರೊಳಗೆ, ಅವ್ರು ಬೇಕಾದಂಗೆ ತಮ್ಮದು ಓನ್ ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಫ್ರೇಮ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಅವರು ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ ನಾವು. ಅದು ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಏನಂತಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ government and political interference has always been there in these kind of corporations. In some issues or in some matters, it is always there in these type of corporations. ಯಾವುದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, in case of major funds are involved, in a case of any cases happened which is against to the public, on such a moment government and political interference has been always there ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಬಹಳ ವಿಚಿತ್ರ ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ, there may be chances of a rampant corruption existing in these statutory corporations. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಚ್ಯುಟರಿ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಕರಪ್ಷನ್ಗಳು ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು. ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಡಿಸ್ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜ್ ಆಫ್ ದೀಸ್ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಷನ್ಸ್. ಇನ್ನು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು ನೋಡಿ, the government has a practice of appointing the government has a practice of appointing advisor of a corporation board. ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ವಿಚಿತ್ರ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತದೆ. ಎಸ್, ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಗಿವ್ ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಫಾರ್ ದೀಸ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಚ್ಯುಟರಿ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಷನ್ಸ್ to start their businesses. But the government has a practice of appointing an advisor for corporation board. Then definitely when the government appoints some advisors for these statutory corporations, then obviously they will definitely they put some restrictions on the functioning of these organizations. It means at the time of a decision making, they should take a permission of these advisors, those who are appointed by the government. Note where there is a freedom of a functioning of their operations. Now first one ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ, they enjoy freedom or independence of their functioning ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ. ಬಟ್ ಅದು ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ if there is any disagreement to the government, disagreement in the matters, then such will be referred to the government. It means if there is any contract relating to the public, if public is disagreed on such a moment, these corporations should take the help of the government and the advisors, those who are appointed by the government. ಇದಿಷ್ಟು ನಾವೀಗ ಲಿಮಿಟೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಹೋದ್ವಿ. ಇನ್ನು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಯಾವುದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ಗವರ್ನಮೆಂಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಇದರೊಳಗಡೆ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಮೀನಿಂಗು, ಅದರ ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಫೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಹೇಳಿಕೆ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅ ಟೈಮ್ ಲಿಮಿಟ್, ಹೌ ಮಚ್ ದಿಸ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಇಸ್ ರಿಮೈನಿಂಗ್, that much I will cover in this class. We will move on to the government company. A government company is established. A government company is established under the Companies Act 2013. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕಂಪನಿಯ ಕಾಯ್ದೆ ಪ್ರಕಾರ 2013ರ ಕಂಪನಿಯ ಕಾಯ್ದೆ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಈ ಒಂದು ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿಗಳನ್ನ ಅವರು ಎಸ್ಟಾಬ್ಲಿಷ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ಇಸ್ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ಡ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಗವರ್ನ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ದಿ ಪ್ರೊವಿಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಆಕ್ಟ್. Notary. A government company is established under the Companies Act 2013 and it is governed and controlled by the provisions of the Act. And the main purpose of establishment of a government company is purely for the purpose of commercial purpose. For the purpose of business or for the purpose of commercial purpose, the government started or government established these companies. ಎದಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು? Yes, to give a competition for the companies in the private sector. ಯಾಕ್ರಿ ಸರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ದವ್ರು ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟರು ಮತ್ತು ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ದವರು ಯಾಕೆ ಈ ಕಂಪ್ನಿಗಳನ್ನು ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, the government has to maintain a balanced economy in the country. ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದೊಳಗೆ ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಥಿಕತೆಯೊಳಗಡೆ ಒಂದು ಸಮತೋಲನವನ್ನು ಕಾಪಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಬರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ಅವರು ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಪ್ರಾಶಸ್ತ್ಯತೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಡ್ತದೆ ನಮ್ದು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ಸ್ ದವ್ರದ್ದು ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ದರ್ಬಾರ್ ನಡೆದು ಬಿಡ್ತೈತೆ ಅವಾಗ. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ದ ಗವರ್ನಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಎಸ್ಟಾಬ್ಲಿಷ್ಡ್ for purely for the purpose of a business. It means to give a competition for the companies in the private sector. In the next definition ಗೆ ಹೋಗೋಣಂತೆ. According to the section 2 subsection 45 of the Companies Act 2013 defines a government company means any company, according to the section 2 subsection 45 of the Companies Act 2013, or these companies may be established under the any previous company law. On such cases also such companies are considered as a government companies. So government company means any company in which government purchased or government held not less than 51% of the paid up capital of these companies. Note ಹೆಂಗಂದ್ರೆ as per the act prakara government company means any company in which government held not less than 51% of the paid up share capital of the company is called a government company. There may be chances whatever the shares held by the government, that is not less than 51%, there may be held by the central government or it may be held by a state government. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಸಪೋಸ್ ಈಗ 51% ಗಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾಟ್ ಲೆಸ್ ದೆನ್ ನಾವು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಅರ್ಥ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ more than 50% of the equity share capital of the company is held by the government. Such shares or such capital may be purchased by the central government or such shares or such capital may be held by state government or it may be held by partly by central government or partly by the state government or one or two state government, or there may be chances a subsidiary of a government company is also considered as a government company. For example, ನಿಮಗೆ ಕ್ಲಾರಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ as per the act ಏನದ ಈಗ more than 50% ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡ್ರಿಪ್ಪ ನೀವು ಈಗ more than 50% capital, more than 50% 50% of the capital is acquired by the government. Okay, more than 50% or not less than 51%. There may be chances this capital is held by ಯಾವುದು ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಗವರ್ನಮೆಂಟ್ ಇರಬಹುದು ಅಥವಾ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಗವರ್ನಮೆಂಟ್ ಇರಬಹುದು or a combination of central and state government. There may be chances ABC is a government company and PUR is a subsidiary of ABC company limited. On such a moment, this PUR company is also considered as a government company. Okay, so and also under the Companies Act 2013, there is no change in the definition of the company. All the provisions of the act is also applicable to the applicable to the other companies. In the same manner, all the provisions, all the rules and regulations are also applicable to these companies also. And one more thing, we will move on to the explanation. A government company may be formed by the government in the form of a private company limited or in the form of public limited companies. And these companies have certain provisions. These companies are also have certain provisions in terms of appointment and retirement of a board of directors of these companies, and also the employees of these companies or the managerial personnel of these companies comes under the control of the government. Andre these companies also have some certain provisions in the appointment, retirement of directors of these companies, and also the appointment and retirement of managerial personnel are also governed by the government. Next from the above it is clear that government exercise control over the management of these companies. And one more thing you must remember here, whatever the paid up capital acquired by the company or whatever the shares purchased by the government, that shares are purchased in the name of the President of our India. President of India ಯಾರ ಹೆಸರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಾವಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೈತ್ರಿ, ಈ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಇರ್ತದ. ಟೇಕ್ ಎನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಏಡೆಡ್ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಇರ್ತಾವ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಅವು ಮೊದಲು ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಇರ್ತಾವ. ಅದನ್ನ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಿತ್ತಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ತಾವಾಗಲೇ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಅಕ್ವೈರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತಾರೆ ಕಾಲೇಜನ್ನು, ಅವಾಗ ಅದು ಏಡೆಡ್ ಆಗ್ತೈತಿ. ಹಂಗೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಕಂಪನಿ ಚಲೋ ರನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಅದರಿಂದ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ ಒಳ್ಳೇದಾಗ್ತದ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತೈತಿ, ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತಂದಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ more than 50% or not less than 51% paid up capital will be acquired by the government or shares will be purchased by the government in the name of President of India. ಅವರ ಹೆಸರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಖರೀದಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. Next bother, since the government is a major shareholder, yes obviously since the government is the major shareholder of these companies, and also the government is going to manage and control the activities of these companies are called government companies. This is enough in the today class. In the next class we will move on to the characteristics of a government companies, what are the merits and what are the limitations of government companies in the next class. Thank you.